Hello, everyone. This is David and
Ryan.
This
Woo.
is Fairly Secret Music. This is 4 years later, June 22nd or something like that. 2022 is where we ended this series. We wrote a whole album in 3 years and
Sudden Gravity.
bunch of other...
Check it out. Exclusively on Bandcamp.
Yep. Sudden Gravity.
Maybe we'll do one of these for Sudden Gravity. You put the Sudden Gravity cover there, and
we could.
And we just sit here and talk about it like we didn't do it. Criticize the mix and the vocals.
Criticize the yeah. Oh, listen to that drum part. That's horrible. So
you never know.
Yeah, this is picking up where we left off 4 years ago. Hopefully, we still have people interested.
They were interested for a while. They kept pinging us. Where the Marillion videos go?
Right.
And we're like, we're making our own album now, and David doesn't want to have me over socially or talk about me about anything except how horrible I am.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then we got through that process, and and we came out the other side, and we're still here, and it's pretty awesome. We did a couple
other ones
format videos there to get our feet wet again.
Yes.
So we haven't completely disappeared. But yeah, Marillion, the next phase, or the best phase, as nobody says. But it's...
Nobody said... Well, I mean...
Well, yeah. Yes.
I will say that this one basically reeled me back into becoming a...
hardcore Marillion
fan
like,
again.
Right, yeah.
I mean, not that I wasn't a fan at all, but... I rarely listened to them for a while.
They do those little videos on their own little YouTube page. And one of the things they ask all of them is, what's your favorite Marillion song? Which obviously is impossible for an artist to answer that. Or what is your favorite Marillion album? I could distinctly remember Ian Mosley, I believe he's the only one, but he picked this album. And he just said, I just think it's just packed with everything that Marillion does well. Like, it's all on there, you know, and
right.
He likes the little interludes, and he likes the way it's kind of tied together in a style, but it's not necessarily about anything that you know, box them in terms of like a story or a theme or anything. It's got some thematic connections, but
it kind of has a concept album feel to it without the concept.
Yeah, without the concept, exactly. Yeah,
which I think a lot of concept albums kind of get tied down with that theme. And they become kind of boring.
I've always said it's cool for a rock band to do a piece of musical theater, but then that's what it is. And I always think, you know, the best concept albums are not, I don't want to say the vaguest, but they're loose. They let you sort of explore what the thing is and whatever. They're not hitting plot points and taking entire songs to explain to you this thing that happens, you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, I really, although even then I sort of like them, like the Dream Theater Metropolis album.
Yeah.
I like that album really musically, but that story that they wanted to tell is pretty, I don't want to say it's corny because it's a really dark tale, but it's just, the more details you spit out there about your story, the more you just become storytelling, and the music does feel tied down to that. I totally agree. So I like stuff. I mean, but I like that uniform of approach to music and everything. I like reprising things and stuff, which this album does really, really well without
like Operation Mindcrime doesn't reprise much.
No, I mean, that's really for a concept album. That's pretty short. That's back in the LP days.
And it's, you know. It's a pretty easy story to follow, even though it's not the greatest story. I mean, at least it has a storyline. King Diamond Abigail, that is a story, like, that's a perfect concept album, in my opinion. But
who?
King Diamond. The Abigail album.
Geez, you got to play that for me some night. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I think you'd hate the vocals, though.
Whatever. But you say that, but then I never do.
Well, yeah. But,
I mean, people sing how they sing. You know, it's cool.
But yeah, it's a horror story basically. It's about a married couple that inherit this house, and the spirit of his uncle's bastard child basically possesses his wife. Yeah.
King Diamond.
You didn't think you were going to get King Diamond talk on a Marillion video,
well,
did
it's they're anyone who does a concept album, Marillion's done a few, and they're and a couple of theirs are very special,
right?
But partly it works because their great concept album, and Misplaced Childhood, it's a concept album in that this is about my life, particularly as a young person. That's not exactly a concept, or it certainly doesn't have a story you need to follow. It's just touching on these feelings and emotions and stuff that go along with that. That's why it's so great, because you can feel what unifies it without it having a plot that you have to follow and a bunch of characters and stuff. You know what I mean?
And as I said in the actual Misplaced Childhood video,
yeah,
the only thing I don't like about that is how happy it ends. I was like, just give me a dark ending. But if we go down that route, we're just going to talk about that forever.
Yeah, we need to talk about this. But a little bit of a welcome back.
Right.
And, Marbles is, I agree with Ian. It does have everything that a Marillion album should have. They've done tons of great things since, but I don't think that they've been able to top this since.
No.
And so it was kind of a return to form in their heyday, and they only had a few albums in there: .com, Radiation, This Strange Engine, Arachnophobia, which was sort of the dry run at this album. David doesn't really love Arachnophobia, but getting back together with Dave Meegan and constructing an album that way, taking that bit of extra time, that was a necessary first step to achieving this. So it really is an important record in that way.
Well, and this one, again, had all the kind of crowdfunding stuff on it. And originally, the 2-disc version, the only way you could get it was if you had crowdfunded and your name was in a thank you list, right?
Yep. You got a great big book.
It had horrible things that held the CDs in.
Yes, the CDs were an afterthought in that giant book, I have to say.
And I borrowed that and burned the 2 discs. So for a long time, the only version I had was the single disc version. I don't even own the single disc version because I was like, without Ocean Cloud, there's no point.
Look, it's weird because the single disc version's superior, I think, in every way, and how it's thought out, how it was planned out. Except it's missing four songs, and 2 of them are killer.
What are the 2?
We'll do them in order. I wanted to this. Look, and this is the time to talk about this. So let me get this off my chest. David's not going to let me do it this way, but I'm just telling you. Whenever you release an album 2 different ways,
single disc, double
disc, or you just the Canadian version had this track, and then the American version had 2 new tracks, but took one away. Anytime you reshuffle something, or the European did it in this order, the North American did it in this order. If you do that, you're inviting me, you're insisting, in fact, that I make the album myself, because I'll like something about both of them, and I feel compelled to fix them, to make the ultimate version of it that I would do. And normally I don't feel the least bit entitled to do my own sequencing, because that's not up to me. Like you say, it is what it is. David has a point about this album. It really was a single disc version. And back in 2004, right?
Because the single disc version technically was the afterthought, right? Also.
Well, no, the single disc version was the one that went out to the shops, the world, Amazon.
No, I know, but when they were creating this, they weren't creating this going, oh, let's do a single disc version. Oh, but we have these other songs, so let's make a 2-disc version, right?
No, this was the first double album Marillion ever did.
Right. And
they really were making a single disc version, and they just worked on this stuff. They were working on it live. Some of it they were playing live. Ocean Cloud, which you mentioned, and which we'll get to in one sequence or another, was called Pacific Rower, and they had played it live a few times, so they tested it out.
Right.
They didn't think that was going to go on the album. Honestly, they weren't sure. But once they got it in their heads that.
And if you know Ocean Cloud, which you probably do because you're watching Marillion Complete Discography videos with us.
Maybe you don't. Maybe now you finally will.
Right.
Because of this video.
But the people that do know Ocean Cloud, just to think, and because it is probably my favorite track on the whole album.
It's a lot of people's.
To think that ever was a possibility that they're like, maybe we won't put this on the album.
Look, I agree.
Is just absurd.
Two of the songs I left off are the two probably weakest songs on the album, but I still wouldn't be parted with them at this point. I want them. I want it all. But it's just the double disc song sequencing for an album that has 3 singles on it, 1 top 10 hit, and another top 20 hit. This album had singles. They were released in a strategic way to get them in the UK charts. They had videos. Like they just hadn't done anything like that for quite some time that had that sort of ambition.
Were they allowed to be in those charts though? Because
yes.
I had read something that.
Yes, they did it right.
Okay.
Fish.
Oh, that's
God
right.
love ya.
Fish
tried a million ways to get into the charts, all of which were stupid and none of which worked. And at least a couple times, because he was breaking the rules of how you had to do it.
Right.
That's when you divorce yourself from a record company. You don't have anyone watching over this kind of thing for you. They were working with. Right. They had a few years earlier they had put out the reissues of all their old catalog. They were working with a big record company again. Right. The record company didn't release this album. I got that wrong when I was texting back and forth with Dave today. EMI did distribute Anarachnophobia, but either way, they were working with people who knew their stuff. They examined their songs. They helped them pick the right single, which they had kind of picked anyway. It's actually pretty obvious which one it should be. Pretty neat. That's pretty neat. I don't have that one. Is that your music? Or?
This is the Madfish version.
Madfish, okay.
So if you get the Madfish version, you don't have to deal with... It has
disc trays.
Trays.
And you get all the cool artwork in the book, but without the...
thank you
the
list.
18 trillion pre-order names.
Billion, yeah. You get lyrics, everything. But the key is these trays, because the original ones were these foam sticky things that went in, and the foam would pop off.
If you gotta do digipacks, and you don't, a reminder to everyone. Yeah, you don't. Only 2 discs. You didn't have to do that.
No.
But if you do...
I don't mind this one.
No, it's pretty nicely done. If you do have to... and it really is more of a book. Because it's got thickness to it. Like, this is a really well put together thing by Madfish. But if you do, please, the tray.
All right.
At least that. Just have
Granted, the people that are making these are never watching.
Have some respect. Nevertheless, I can't help. I got to get it off my chest.
Right.
I guess to finish my thought on the track listing, the single disc track listings is great. It's how you would make an album. This is almost random by comparison in a really frustrating way, especially for an album that, despite the fact that it's got lots of epic, ornate things on it and some all-time big Marillion favorites, it really was designed to put them in the charts again, to reintroduce them to the world, and it did. It was a success. When we get to the song, I'll let you know where they charted and how, and that kind of thing. But what I really wanted to do was I basically took the 1 disc and I dropped the extra songs in so that the 1 disc sequencing was sort of maintained. Because I just think these 2 discs, it's just the way that stuff appears on the album is the dumbest way ever. And I didn't want to complain about that the whole show, but I guess I...
It is kind of odd. I will say, though...
But there's 2 versions of this album, that's key.
Right.
Or would I would never sit here and say, well, I did the right version, ladies and gentlemen. Has all the songs, but it doesn't.
So, do you, off the top of your head, do you know what version?
I brought my old iPod Classic, which has it in it, so I can run down. I would pretty much know it off the top of my head, but if we want to know, exactly.
what order was the single disc version in?
Oh, that I don't have in front of me.
Oh,
but it's very close to what I did. It just mine has all the songs.
Right.
The single disc version was well thought out. It was well thought out. It had it was up. It had 3 songs up, or it started the same. The second song on this isn't even on the. It's hard to explain. That's why I wanted to just do it, because then you'd hear it both ways. But
right.
David doesn't want me to do that.
Well, I mean,
and to be fair, this has been reissued many, many times, only in the 2-disc version. The version you would buy now is only the 2-disc version. The version online, with the FLAC files, is the 2-disc version with the 2-disc order. So that is the version that endured, even though the single disc is the one that hit the shops It was the one you could buy on Amazon, and the shops were still a very real thing in 2004. We talk about that now like it's nothing, but that's something. The one you put out to retail in Holland and in Germany and all these places where you're really still selling a lot of records, it's significant that they didn't put the 2-disc version out to everybody. Eventually, they released it in more palatable ways, other than the big pre-order version, and they were always going to do that. They didn't say, only you special pre-order fans are getting all these extra songs out.
For a while, it was out of print. I could not get it.
It was the only way to get it for a while. But even Racket, directly from them, right?
Yep.
And that was true for sure. Yeah, because even the little jewel case version that had the 2-disc version, you could only buy that from Racket. You couldn't buy it anywhere else, and that makes that version, the version that was out there to the public, it makes it significant. And when you look at it, it just makes more sense. I could tell you the running order, but I feel like that'd be spoiling the album somehow.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Well, let's
track
talk
by
about
track.
Let's talk about the art for a second, though.
Yeah.
I think this is probably...
Bill Smith's studio again, which has pretty much been doing it all along for them.
I think this is probably one of their best... and the follow-up album to this, I love the cover of Somewhere Else, too.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in 47 minutes or something like that. So, this, I think, is the most, what do you call it? Unified artwork they do. Because there are some that are after this that I'm like, were these just kind of afterthoughts?
I actually know the answer to that if you want to know it.
Go ahead.
These are all album covers. I mean, Bill Smith, when they did album covers for them, gave them 25 different ideas basically. And
so they're kind of like the...
And what they did for this album was, it was the first time they really did this. There were some alternates that came out. There's 2 covers to Holidays in Eden, which we've talked about before.
Right.
Both designed by the same studio, but slightly different. But what they did for this album, that because it had a bigger budget and because there was more stuff behind it, and because they were going to have that big collector's book, which was the first time not the first time, Anoractophobia had a smaller book, kind of like the one David's holding. But they'd always said, all Bill Smith's alternate things, they could all be great album covers, and we deny them and send them packing. And this time they just printed every single idea that they had, essentially.
Nice. That sounds like the newest Dream Theater album. What Hugh Syme did. It's like packed full of album covers. Where
album covers, album cover after album cover.
Yeah, you're like, why did they choose this album cover when he has the 10th photo in it?
Mm-hmm.
But
so this is really just every idea they had, and I think they knew that. I think they kept churning them out but it was an idea that came along by the band at some point. Well, all these are great album covers, and I think when they went to work on this, they basically, they didn't just as an afterthought say let's include all this. They were like, this time we're gonna
Yeah, I think they chose the 2 best ones though. I think honestly,
that's a powerful image. The marbles as eyes.
Yeah. This was on vans or taxis in England.
The eyes disguising you, and of course there's 10 million pictures of just different people with these different eyes. Only a few which got in the album, but there's a whole bunch of them out there. They used for live albums. They used for the singles. At which there were many singles. There were 4 different physical format singles and a digital single for this album. That's how they got the first one on the charts. Was they released it 3 different ways, kind of Pet Shop Boys style. They may not have been the first people to do that, but the first people I remember that I followed that I had to buy 3 singles of whatever.
Pulling a Pet Shop Boys. We all know how hard singles are with them.
Each single, even though it's got a different track listing on it, even though there's different stuff on each one, counts as one. So if you're a fan and you buy all 3, and they have to be released in a certain way. I can't just go buy it from anybody I want in America. I have to buy it from somebody who bought it in England for it to count. There was a whole campaign, and that was sort of done by the fans on the side, but there was this whole campaign to get the song on the charts and make Marillion huge again. Of course, it got them on the charts, and it did not make Marillion huge again. Which also shows you, in England, no offense, to England charts, but other artists had been doing these tricks already. It's a small enough country, and when the thing comes out, if you've got a loyal enough fan base, you buy it in a way that gets it on the charts. It's that they didn't think of that; they just made use of it finally.
Right.
In America, you have to be huge to have a number one song. At least at this point, when sales were what drove that.
Right.
So, but we'll get to that single when we get to it. The album starts off with The Invisible Man. That's a song that they played constantly since it was created. I saw them on this tour at Park West in Chicago. Opened the show.
Before or after this album came out?
After.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. It was for the Marbles tour. It was after the giant European tour. They came over here.
Nice.
Yeah, and somebody, I remember we were hanging out on the street waiting to get in because I don't know why it was assigned seats. I don't know what the hell we were doing on the sidewalk, but somebody's driving by with their convertible, blasting Invisible Man, and everybody's cheering and stuff. Nice. It's fun when you go to a Marillion show. I'm sure it's fun everywhere because the fan base is rabid and loyal, but in America in particular, because we were all from all over the place. Everybody bonded by a special band that no passerby walking on the street had ever heard of. So to have that sort of circus atmosphere around it, it's really, really cool. And Park West is a great place to see a show right off of Lake Michigan. In fact, I rode down the elevator with Ian Mosley the morning I got up the day of the show because they were staying at the hotel we were at. It's the best one to stay at. I can't remember what it's called, but it's right across the street. And he rolled the way down, and I'm like sitting there going, I got to say something to Ian, but I don't really want to pester him. I'm not particularly shy, but whenever I see a famous person, my instinct is to hide from them and leave them alone so they don't even notice me because they don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Ian probably would have talked to me. I mean, it's, again, an American...
He's very social on Facebook.
Exactly. And an American recognizing him in an elevator, especially. Right. It's not the same as if he were wherever. So I just, when the door's opening, and I said, "Hey man, have a great show tonight." And it was so cool. He just lit up like, "Oh, this dude knows who I am and is a Marillion fan and everything." And he said, "Oh, you too."
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my little interaction with Ian Mosley the day of the show. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I would have been like, "Ian, how do you play with your hi-hat so low?" His hi-hat is literally at the same height as his snare.
You'd hit the alarm on the elevator.
I've been like, but
all right, Ian, we got some
shit to talk about, bro. Because that hi-hat is so low. And he doesn't play, he still plays crossing.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I've been watching some of the live stuff, and he doesn't play open-handed, which is where you play your hi-hat with your left hand. Because I thought, oh shit, has all this time he been playing left-handed or open-handed? And nope, he plays, but his hi-hat and his snare are like this.
Almost same level.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But
I did not have that question for him. I was just happy to see him.
Tightest cymbals too. I've never seen cymbals so freaking tight. Like he hits them and they go like this. A normal cymbal would go like this.
Yeah, right.
He hits them and they go. It's just, and they sound amazing. He must break so many cymbals because having them that tight there's no give and stuff like that.
He's an artist on the cymbals. I mean, I really believe that. I've got a lot of favorite drummers. Ian, I don't know, he's maybe not been at the top of the list really ever when I've discussed him. He's always there on the list someplace near the top. But he's just an artist on the cymbals. I think that about your playing too. And I love it. I love that.
Well, shit,
I love that you guys don't just bang on them. You do stuff on them, and there's a lot of drummers who do that. It's not a unique thing, but
we're twiddly.
Yeah, and that sound, that frequency, the way it moves around in the mix and stuff. It's just glorious to listen to, and there's a lot of that on this record.
A lot of his hi-hat work was really inspirational. Growing up, him and Mark Zonder.
How does he hit it so many times in between each little downbeat? I don't know how he does that.
What do you mean?
He's like,
oh yeah. Well, he does a lot of double stroke rolls and stuff, and he does a lot of ghost notes and things like that. But there is one thing that I will criticize him about on this album. So the beginning of Invisible Man. before the drums come in with the every time that comes in, I want them to start 2 measures before that.
Oh, wow.
Like where
that might not have been up to him.
Where the drums come in, I'm just like, holy shit. That should have every time I think 2 measures before that.
Here it comes.
It's
and
just
then,
like,
and then you got to wait.
No, and I know where it comes in now.
Right.
But it always seems like it was like he was having a drink and he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get up on the stage," you know. But yeah,
Invisible Man.
That's literally the only thing I can find problematic with this song, because this song hooked me. Like if you open up my thing, it probably says something like,
let's do it. Let's read David's album notes.
Yeah, I made notes, but I'm recording with my phone, so they're all on there, and I don't have a printer
who does anymore
that works.
This is from people who own like CD players.
Yeah, let me read.
I want to read it.
Okay, go ahead. Read what I said.
Invisible Man.
There's some typos.
The song that made us all aware that Marillion was not dead and brought me back as a fan.
A lot as a fan.
A lot as a fan. It says a lit.
I know. I told you there was typos.
Yes, a lit.
Right.
As a fan.
Lit as a fan.
Nice.
Is that all that I wrote on there?
For
Invisible Man?
For that song, yes.
Okay. So I thought I had more where I said this song is part A, B, C, D, E. It never really,
I was just about to say that. Structurally, this is most of their songs now are like this, actually. Most of their songs of today, of their last 2 albums, kind of 3, but mostly 2, are Invisible Mans. They're kind of that in style, and they are very brave structurally to not go back, to not give you much of anything that repeats. I don't want to say nothing repeats, but it's like you say, structurally it's 4 little songs.
Right.
And in this case,
no verse chorus stuff.
Right, exactly. And in this case, it's because sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes, I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't work, but sometimes that's a hard song to get used to and to fall in love with, because it doesn't really give you anything repetitive to glom onto musically. Pop songs are written that way for a reason. It's because it's a little rock set.
I think it.
Don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
I think it shows how good this song is. The fact that it does not have an apparent chorus at all. Yeah. But yet you can sing along with the whole song.
Yeah. Yes. It's tremendously melodically infectious, and it's lyrically it's ghostly and haunting, and then by the time you're done with it, it's extremely powerful. Steve Hogarth was just recently doing his solo act unplugged down in Australia, and I watched this interview he did with an Australian guy. Oh, you're coming down here and everything. He clearly super into Invisible Man, and so he's like, "Are you going to play Invisible Man?" No, I'm not going to play Invisible on my piano. Right. He could do it. He's adventurous, and he does a lot of different things. So he might play like part of Invisible Man or something. He literally will take requests from the audience,
right,
for How He Lives songs. So I mean, he'll play just about anything if he can think it up. But he's like, "So can I ask you?" And he's got this whole theory about who the Invisible Man is. He goes. And by the time he spread it out, he asked, "So, who is the Invisible Man?" It's H in his classic, only he can do it way. It's like, well, he's me, I guess, isn't he? Yeah.
I mean, well, that's what I think of. And I thought maybe this was his...
It's written almost like a takedown of somebody, so I see where this Australian guy is coming from. But of course, it's by the time it's over, I don't know how anyone could come up with any other conclusion that this is a confession of a kind,
right?
And
kind of like, hey, I've screwed up, and I don't have you in my life anymore, and now I have to watch as you make love to this man and blah blah. There are so many great.
It's a really really powerful song and really really well executed by the group, and really really like it. Again, Anorachnophobia prepared you a little bit for this album in a way that, like I say, Radiation and .com would not have. But
Right.
but Anarachnophobia, as great as it is full of sort of tape loops and gimmicks and a lot of things of the day, whereas this just feels like you're hearing pure, powerful Marillion. I don't want to say a return to form because there's
They never had no, they never.
right. It just takes your breath away. It's an outstanding opening piece, and
this album kind of,
I love it.
It's kind of like how I feel about Crash of the Crown by Styx. Kind of like, wow, this late in your career, you're putting out this album that is that awesome. You don't like Crash of the Crown.
I do like Crash of the Crown, but I wouldn't compare it to Marbles on my worst day.
Oh no, I think Styx Crash.
I do like Crash of the Crown, and I'll say this
awesome.
One nice thing about new Styx, because one of the tragedies of that version of the band taking control of Styx's future was that they put out an album actually which was pretty good. It was certainly better than their last album that they did in the proper incarnation of the band. But that's it. Then we got a covers album. We got 18 trillion live albums and different projects. And
right.
For 20 years, there was no studio albums. And then boom, boom, boom. We've had 3 kind of in a row every 2 years almost lately. Right. And they're collaborating with a guy who's, I think, helping them and inspiring them to write and stuff because the stuff's almost all those 3 albums are a collaboration with this other guy who's not even really in the band. I think he kind of is because he's clearly driving a lot of what's behind these records. But and Crash of the Crown of the 3, Mission, Crash of the Crown, and this recent one about birds is by far the best one.
Yep.
Hats off to that. Thank you for getting back to creating music again. Right. Maybe because that under that.
But that album
it's really, really good. I don't want to diss on it. I just. We're talking about Marbles, and Marbles to me is a Desert Island record. Crash of the Crown's like a... hats off to you.
I'm sorry. Apparently I love Crash of the Crown. Maybe we should do a Crash of the Crown video.
We should not.
Okay, so
I've said everything nice I have to say about Crash of the Crown.
So here's my thing that I realized. On Invisible Man, he sings Budapest, Krakow, and Amsterdam. I never read the lyrics. And I always sang along with him Budapest Crack House in Amsterdam. And I'm like, what? Why did I never read those lyrics? But why would he even be singing about a Budapest Crack House in Amsterdam? And why would Budapest and Amsterdam even be going together? So I never even thought of it. And as I was listening to this, I was like, oh, so it's another misheard lyrics that 20 years later I finally read the lyrics. I'm like, been singing that wrong the whole time.
You who demand the lyrics be on every album, or sometimes you won't even buy it.
I told you.
And you wait 2 decades to read them for one of your favorite albums.
You're weird. That's the thing. I didn't have this for the longest
He doesn't
time.
like soft cookies either. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Hard cookies. It's the way to go.
I mean, I like hard cookies. I like cookies every way, but soft cookies. Soft cookies are really good.
It's the software that's mushy, and you can just kind of go like this, and it kind of folds in half rather than snaps in half. Yeah. Okay, what's the next? What else do you want to say about Invisible Man?
We got to move on. It's hard for me. I have a hard time. This show will be a little different than some of the other ones. It's hard to even get specific about it. It's a really, really well told tale. Really outstanding opener, and really going to be hard for the rest of the album to live up to it, and it totally does. So Marbles is just off to a cracking start,
right?
Almost like a crack house in Amsterdam,
right?
And
the cool thing with this song is that there are so many awesome keyboard sounds.
Yes,
and it's really like Mark Kelly stretching out even more than he has, whereas the next album,
and they're really fat and they don't get in the way of anything. I don't know what Dave Meegan's trick was, but produced and engineered by Dave Meegan. Nobody ever made Marillion sound better than that guy.
Let's find out who mixed it. But the next song,
it's mixed. It was too much for Meegan to mix, so some of it's mixed by Steven Wilson.
Oh,
I think there's 3 different mixers on this album.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Recorded and engineered, but so much material, and they were under a deadline. Even an album they intended to take their time with, they had to get it out, and I think it was Megan's idea to spread the love around from a mixing standpoint.
Invisible Man, Fantastic Place, Ocean Cloud, You're Gone, mixed by Dave Megan.
Makes sense.
Angela, mixed by Dave Megan and Steve Wilson. Genie, mixed by Steve Wilson.
That's side A.
And then it says mixed by Michael Hunter, except, and those are the exceptions. Sorry.
Gotcha.
So next we have Marbles 1, which is my favorite of the 4 marbles.
Of the marbles. Well, yeah, and as it should be. Marbles, there's 4 marbles, and they're these little interludes about our heroes' lost marbles. Yeah. Obviously, that's a metaphor. And yet, lyrically, they really are treated like these beloved, cherished toys. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. The marbles meaning your wits or your brains, but he doesn't pound that down. It really are they're these childish toy piano, one way or another kind of things about. Have you seen my last marble? They're so sad. Yep. And there's a thing they did where they combine them live into a little mini epic. I can't remember. That has a name, and I can't remember what it's called. It's too bad because it's really neat. And
is it on Marbles Live?
No. It wasn't during this tour where they were doing everything straight. It was came along later, not a lot later, but came along later as a sort of a goofy thing and a way to examine this record and stuff. I can't remember what it's called. I want to call it the Full Marbles, but that's not what it is.
We'll call it the Full Marbles.
It has a proper name, and it's very clever, as you would imagine. Very English and very clever. And this is a neat. It's a neat little thing. I like these little intros and interludes.
I don't like the second one. I don't think so. What did I write on my little thing? I think
this is technically the next song, isn't it? M1, Marbles 1, fun little song.
Fun little song. Yep, it's my favorite of the 4. And then we go.
But I like that they're different. I don't love any of them, but I just the way they.
I love the first. I really like.
You legit love the first one.
Like I would put the first one on, like a
hits collection,
if I was making somebody a mix CD of Marillion.
You like it that much?
Yeah, I mean,
Marbles.
If you just wanted a little bit,
a little taste of the Marbles project.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to explain, but it has that little bit of personality, and the little interludes are cool. And of course, he makes something out of all of it, and he kind of reprises this one. One of them later is very much just like this one, but they're neat. They're neat little things, neat little toy piano interludes.
All right, what's the next song?
Genie.
What did I write for Genie? Because I
like it. It's got a different structure: verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Is it verse, chorus, bridge, chorus?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. So, why did I write it has a different structure? Maybe because I was coming from Invisible Man, where
Genie's got a pop song structure, but it's not. Genie sneaks up on you. It starts out really subtle. I love Genie, by the way. I'm shocked that Genie didn't make it onto the single disc version. I know why Ocean Cloud didn't, because it's massive. Right. I mean, that's the only reason. It's brilliant, but it's you lift that out and suddenly you got room for all this other stuff. Like that's a decision that registers with me.
Whereas Negative Land did. Negative Land made it to the single disc version.
Neverland, but yeah.
Neverland.
So Genie. It's about this girl that he met. It's about this little philosophical interaction that they had, and it's a great pop song, but it wouldn't make that great a single because it takes a while to get to the pop part, and that's what you're talking about structurally. The chorus comes really late,
right,
and then it goes away, and then you get a little bit more of it at the end, and the going into that bridge, the vocal passage, and just the way he changes the way he sings stuff. Like, this is something H has always been really, really great at. Like, he does it one way, and then he does it this bigger, better way, and then he does it this amazing, dramatic way.
Right.
Like, Genie's got that in spades, and I let the Genie out of the box. very cool. I don't know how to explain it. I really, really dug this song. The first time I heard it, because I knew they were going to have this big hit single and so on, I was listening to my little 2-disc book version with my headphones on in the dark in my bed, trying to listen to the album for the first time. I heard this and I'm like, well, that's it. That's, at first I was like, well, this is interesting. And then I was like, whoa, no, this is it. This is the big hit single, right? This has to be, because this is awesome.
But it is not.
It is not. It didn't even get on. It didn't even get on the national release version. So I don't know. They didn't think much of it. I think they probably do. They trot this one out. I mean, they don't play it all the time like Invisible Man, but they trot it out with some regularity, which means there's definitely some fondness for it. And it really is a great little. Like you say, it's not structured. It is structured like a pop song, but it's not though. It's a little more interesting than that. It's a little bit for a almost 5-minute song. It's a slow burn of the song in a very interesting way, and it really, the way he sings it, especially early on, it makes you really listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
There's parts of Invisible Man that are like that too, but there's not a lot of histrionics. He's kind of talking to you, and Genie's a great tune. I did very much dig it. Of the short songs on the album.
Wait. There's see, this is why I think there was more for Invisible Man.
There was not.
Oh, maybe it's Ocean Cloud that.
Ocean Cloud's got a paragraph.
Yeah.
I'll read that when we get to it.
Because there are times on this album where I'm like, our project Sudden Gravity. If you could not hear exactly what was being sung or said, it was wrong, right? And I'm listening to this.
Not necessarily the case.
I'm listening to this, and I'm like, whoa. That would have not flown on a Sudden Gravity thing, because it's like, what is he fucking saying, right?
I know it takes some bravery to do things like that. I mean, that's one of the things I admire most about Marillion, and it's one of the ways I want to be more like them. Like, here's a thing that's brilliant, and it's 42 seconds, and poof, it's gone, and it's gone forever. Stuff like that, it's like, well, because if we came up with something that was good enough for 42 seconds, it's good enough for 6 minutes, because we're going to make the most out of this little thing that's awesome.
Right.
I think that's a proper musical instinct to feel that way.
Right.
But sometimes you can just put it out there.
Yep. You put it out there.
Or Dave Meegan captures you twiddling around and is like, you don't even remember this thing that you made. Right. And he kind of makes you make it into something. That's why building an album this way, and I think Michael Hunter, to be fair, who they've worked with after this and ever since, got really good at sort of adapting to that as well. So because they still make records the same way. Right. H has always said they jam stuff. I mean, we're a jam band, and they jam stuff, and then we keep the best bits, and then we try and turn them into songs. But that's something our band doesn't do, or at least not much. But it's what makes them feel so unpredictable and so live and so amazing. And Genie isn't that kind of song. Invisible Man certainly is. Where here's these things, and we made them go together, and they go great together, but they don't go together the way a conventional, like a Fleetwood Mac song would, or something like that. They're just not like that. Genie, on the other hand, very much like a Fleetwood Mac song, if Marillion played it. Right. And it's equally cool. Like, it's for a track that got dumped, very, very good, and a very, very strong, very, very strong second track.
All right. Then we have, Fantastic Place?
Yeah. A little early, like I said. The Fantastic Place is saved for later on the single disc version.
Yeah.
I won't read you the list. I just think that would be stupid at this point. But I think it's better served later. I think that's one of my issues with this. And the song after this really should have been way on the back end of the record. And if you were making a single record, that's how you do it. That's how they did it.
Right.
But they weren't. They had this double album. They wanted different strengths and weaknesses here, so they kind of splattered them out.
What did I say about Fantastic Place in my notes? Because I think
Fantastic chorus, but a bit long.
It is. Yeah.
Fantastic Place is thousands and thousands of Marillion fans' favorite song. I think it's the best song on this record, actually. I really do. And you're shaking your head, and
I'm shaking my head.
I absolutely think it's the best song on the record. It's if I had to only pick one that they were going to play, it might be Invisible Man, but it would probably be Fantastic Place. I remember watching them play it, and I just remember how once that song gets going, and again, it's weird that it's here after Genie because they both had the same kind of way they do the song. A Fantastic Place does run on a little longer, but it is sort of the Great Escape, Afraid of Sunlight of this album. It has this something that happens that lifts you out of your seat and sends you up floating toward the ceiling. And I remember all of us sort of doing that. I remember a girl sitting next to me, just getting just anxious. She wanted to hear the song so bad, and finally she just screamed it out of the stage. Fantastic Place, and I think it was a coincidence. It was literally the next song they were going to play.
Nice.
Because I don't think they would have. Usually they do the. Yes, just be a bit patient, please.
Oh, right.
Or they'd say something very English and polite to the obnoxious American person.
Right.
On Unplugged at the Walls is this great thing where they go around saying all the countries and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And they say, America. And they go, blah, blah, blah. And the Americans keep cheering because we're idiots. And we just keep making a mess. And H has got this, yes, I already said USA. Shut up, the Americans.
Shut up, the Americans.
Anyway, it was almost like it was destined to happen this way. She called out the song, and he got this little smile, like, "How did you know that was going to be the song we were going to play?" And he starts playing it, and Fantastic Place is an amazing song. It's an amazing song. It's
maybe I need to watch or hear it live.
It might help
more.
It might help.
I don't know if I've ever because I have a lot of live stuff, but I don't listen to a lot of live stuff.
I don't know. I've got tons of live stuff, some of which I've never listened to. Right. I collect everything that we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this on the next album. But I collect literally everything they do, and I still do to this day. Every live video, everything, every single, everything. I have
every 5.1, but he doesn't watch the videos. He doesn't listen to the 5.1.
No, I watch some of the videos.
Do you? Okay.
The making ofs on these new reissues are pretty amazing.
Yep. But no, you don't watch the live videos much, do you?
Not much, but again, I don't have a private basement here where I'm secluded from everything. I live in a one-bedroom apartment where I have neighbors on both sides of me, so I don't sit there and rock out to stuff.
He comes over here and
listen to things. So in any case, live albums, I love them, and live videos are great. Their live shows are really cool. I've always the way I've always approached the live album since I was a kid, when there weren't a lot of videos around, is to imagine it. Like I like sitting in the dark and imagining the concert.
Right.
Something about that is how I sort of interact with them. So, and even then, they put out way too much live material than anyone could ever listen to. I'm sorry, nobody's listened to it all. It's impossible.
Oh, well, there's probably people that do, but
yeah, but if you count all the downloads, where literally now for the last 15 years you can buy every show, right? I just don't see. I just don't see how. Fantastic Place again. I really don't like it here in the sequencing, because I would have put the single here and really blown them away, because you give them Genie and then just give them the top 40 song, baby, right now. That's what the single disc version does, and that's a smart thing to do. We got to wait till the second disc to even get to that, which is dumb. But it's not like inherently bad. It's a great song. I love it. I love Fantastic Place. Take Me to an Island. That's just something about it. It's this fantasy about escaping, and we're all going there together. You know what I mean? And he writes all kinds of songs and all kinds of lyrics, Steve Hogarth. But sometimes he writes what I call these songs of connection, about how we're connected and stuff. And to me, that always his best stuff, because it's, we're all in it. We're all going together. We're all having this thing together. And isn't that a magical thing? And Fantastic Place is that song on this record.
You know what I've noticed recently is, I've noticed it for a long time, is he'll take horrible tragedies and make some of the greatest songs.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Estonia,
the space. I mean, that was a tram that hit a car, right? And that's what kind of like.
Well, it sort of inspired the song. It's a metaphor for you're living your life like a thing that just thoughtlessly destroys another thing.
What was the song on Afraid of Sunlight where about the guy with the
what is that song? Yeah, the boat racer speeding the boat race record. What is that song called?
Oh God, where is Marillion?
It's terrible that I can't think of the name of that song.
Remember.
Of course, Out of This World.
Out of This World. Yeah.
Good song.
But yeah, he does a lot of songs that are like that. Ocean Cloud is going to be one of them.
Yep.
But okay, let's go on to the next song.
Yeah, but fantastic place. David does need to listen to that again, and maybe see the live experience, see how people react to it, because it really is something else. It's not that it's not good on the record; it's fantastic on the record. Matter of fact, you can even tell the songs Megan kept for himself. I don't know if they're the best songs per se, but they're like they're the ones he thought were that he really wanted to mix himself. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Fantastic Place was a priority in that way, and much more than the hit singles on this record. That's the one. It's not a lock because they don't have to play any one song. They can drop anything from any set list at any time. That's one of the great things about being them. Nobody will be too mad. But it's by far the most played live song from this album because it's absolutely beloved by people. Matter of fact, I can't wait to see. They just did a show in the Pompeii Amphitheater, and I cannot wait to see the version of Fantastic Place from that. I'm so excited for it.
The one thing I love about this band so much is the fact that they are not hey, we're going to play the hits and then some other stuff, but mostly people are waiting for the hits. Right?
Well, that's because of us, and I appreciate them for being that, but that's because of us. We don't show up demand. You don't have to play Don't Dream It's Over last and we'll all be pissed. You don't have to do that. We're all going to accept what we get. Right. We might be disappointed, you didn't do this or that, but you got so many good songs now, and you don't really have any major hits except for, going all the way back to the Fish days. It's rare that a Fish song even comes up in a Marillion show these days. Right. It's not unheard of. It happens, but they haven't had to play the big hit songs for so long. But that's the fans. We liberate them from doing that. If we needed to hear Kaylee every time they went out on the road, they'd feel it, they'd know it, and they'd do it. Because, in a way, you're obnoxious for not playing your big hit if that's the kind of fan base you have. Right. You're lucky to have whatever fan base you got. But I
just love the fact that I know if I go see them, I won't know
what it's
or have any clue as to what
something.
I'm gonna
a bunch of stuff from the recent record, but beyond that, it could be anything, and it is.
If I go see Kansas, I know exactly what songs I'm going to hear.
Not exactly, but yes, you're going to hear. There's a couple they're not going to leave out.
Right.
There's a couple they can't leave out. They've got a Kaylee or two, and they got to play them. And Marillion doesn't have to do that. It's really cool. But I don't want to not give them credit for that, but I'm giving us credit for that because we're the ones that liberate them from that.
Right. Which is good.
Yes.
And
that's the kind of fan everyone should be.
Because if you're not a fan like that, then it's gonna shit. What is that song called?
I don't know.
If you're not a fan, that's the only unforgivable thing.
Little marbles pun for you. All right, well, we're only on the fourth song, so we better get going.
Right. We are 52 minutes into this, and we're only on the
I told you this would happen. Marbles is going to be hard to get through.
Marbles is a long one, but...
And there's a lot to say about it, but some of these, there's less to say about some of these.
Right.
Invisible Man, A Fantastic Place being front-loaded on the 2-disc set is a lot. There's a lot. Those songs are...
Right.
They're seminal for the band.
What did I say about this in my notes here?
Oh, about Fantastic Place. Fantastic chorus. But a bit long.
A bit long. We already knew that.
All right. The only unforgivable thing is the next song. The low point on disc 1.
Do you agree with that?
I do. The only unforgivable things is either the worst or the second worst proper song on this record. That's not to say it's garbage or anything, but it's not on the single disc version. On this, it being right here is a horrible place for it. I really just hate.
Where else would you? I mean, like technically, where else would you put it?
I put it. I've got mostly front loaded single disc version of the disc. Then I put Ocean Cloud a little bit after the halfway point. So you got your big
kicking off disc 2.
No, I just do it as a 14-song cycle. I don't have to worry about when I do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could split it up into discs for you.
Right.
But in which case, Ocean Cloud would end the first disc, and the first disc would be a lot longer than the second. Yeah. But I do Ocean Cloud, and then I do the whatever the interlude is that's in that area. Then what's the Damage, and then I'd put in that song.
Okay.
In between the Damaged and Drilling Holes, essentially. Right. I don't know where I put all those interludes, but because that's a place where between Drilling Holes and Damage, which are both really up-tempo and powerful, that's a nice place for this little palate cleanser to go. At this point in the album, after one of its best songs, you could argue after two of its very best songs, it just falls flat here.
Three, actually.
Yeah.
You're right.
But look, it's a little flat anyway. It's a little bit of meandering song. I don't dislike it. I really don't dislike anything on this record. I think it's, as a proper song, judging the Four Marbles sort of as their own thing, as a proper song, it's probably the least interesting and the least dynamic, and that's why it is where it is. It's just a little kind of monologue that Rolly pulls along, and it has ups and downs and stuff. It doesn't have any dynamics, but it's like a few of the tunes on their next album are very much like this, and I don't think that's a bad thing either in and of itself. It's just, compared to the rest of these, it's not a highlight. I would have to agree with you there.
Then we get Marbles.
It's not garbage. It's just not a highlight. The only unforgivable thing in this sequencing, it's in a weird spot. Because this shouldn't be a letdown spot on the album at all, and wouldn't be on an album. That's a song where you don't put it at the big ending, but you kind of put it toward the back end. Where
technically, if they were going to swap two songs, this song and the single "Don't Hurt Yourself,"
the second single,
would have been a smarter choice. But
well, on my version of the album, "Don't Hurt Yourself" comes after an interlude that comes right after "Fantastic Place."
Right.
And we've already heard the first single. And again, there's a better way of doing this. I get this 2-album thing was a challenge.
What was the first single?
"You're Gone."
Oh, really?
Yep. So you didn't even know.
I did not.
I thought it was Genie the first time I was listening to it. They wanted to have a pop song, and they tried it 4 different ways, and they got a couple.
I would have thought "Don't Hurt Yourself" was the first single, but
you'd be incorrect.
Okay.
Even the A&R guys, they were consulting and everything. All the people, no, it's this one.
Really?
Yep.
Marbles 2. I think I wrote something like, I don't like this one as much as the first one.
I like the second half, where it repeats the first one that you like.
Right. Is that what I wrote?
Well, you didn't say all that. You said, I like the second half, "Did Anyone See" part, which is the same thing as the first one.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't differentiate them that much. Here's another little Marbles thing. I really don't judge it. I don't judge any of them either way. But then I didn't love the first one, so I wouldn't be disappointed by this one.
Right.
It's it's simple as that. I accept what these are, and they're cool little things, and I like that it does something different at first, even though that isn't as interesting. I agree. And then it shows you, it's one of these little things. I think that's kind of neat. But it isn't a thing I couldn't live without.
Well, and then we get probably my favorite song on the album.
Well, and a lot of people's, because a lot of the prog rockers out there they like the big epic song. Here it is. When was the last time we had a 20-minute Marillion song? We'd never really had one. I think it's the longest Marillion song.
Well, and even with Invisible Man, you're listening to that, you don't think of it as, oh God, this is a 15-minute song or whatever, right?
Right.
24 minutes go, and to me at least, I'm never bored.
Yeah.
I never think...
I think that's fair to say.
Oh God, is this song done yet?
It approaches its early passages in this long, very patient, epic way, and it's very melodic, and the soundscapes in this song. You were talking about Invisible Man, the keyboard sounds. The keyboard sounds in this song are dominant.
Well, and...
in a way that they are a little bit, like a little slice in the sandwich in Invisible Man. This song, they're dominant. What they remind me of, and I never thought Mark Kelly would remind me of this particular person. What they remind me of is Vangelis's old film score stuff on the Yamaha CS80. They have this like Blade Runner feel to them almost. These sweeping, like where the sounds themselves are moving and everything. It's that alone makes it sort of amazing. Right. Then you have this epic. You always, whenever I write something you don't like, he compares it to a sea shanty. Ocean Cloud's the greatest sea shanty of all time.
It is.
I can be a little regimented now. So, okay, I admit it.
So,
and it's the fourth nautical Marillion song.
Right.
They didn't put Bell in the Sea on Season's End because they thought it was, quote,
Which
a
is
little
bullshit.
too yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum.
Which is bullshit, because that's one of my favorite songs.
It's awesome. Well, everyone always, that's why they get asked the question all the time. Why didn't you put Bell in the Sea on Season's End? Of course, you'd have gotten rid of Holloway Girl, which is stupid.
The way this song starts out, too, though.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Look at this big mound of blankets behind us. I'm glad this is obscuring that. It's obscured by clouds.
It's a cold basement. I'm sitting on a pillow. We're kind of both. We look comfy, but we're all sitting up straight for the video.
I'm sitting back now.
I'm leaning back, but I've got all this stuff in between me and the back of the couch, so it does make it. It does make it a little different.
Pushed back, but
the things we spare no expense for you out there in fairly secret,
and all the editing that we go into these videos. Zero editing. Fuck that. I'm not doing any editing on this
much
video.
editing. I'm not even editing myself now. We're talking about pillows and shit in the middle of the ocean cloud part.
Yeah. You can watch edited videos if you want, but you're not going to get the truth.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
So Ocean Clouds.
It's
what did I write? What are my notes on?
He wrote a lot. Now
I wrote a lot on
It's
this.
a good thing I'm an actor, so I can read
Right,
this.
he's gonna give it to me.
Brilliant 20+ minutes of magic. I dream of your legs defying gravity and love. That's from the song.
Right. I pointed out, like, sometimes I'll point out in my notes lines that I really like.
That's poetry. It really is.
Just the way he sings that part too, and with this song, out of all the really long songs that they've done, this song I think is pushed forward by the vocals more than any other instrument in this.
Probably. Yeah. Well, I would disagree with that. I would say that without the vocals, I see what you're saying.
Well,
without the vocals, This Strange Engine, the track, would be nothing. It would be a mix of bunch of stuff. So it desperately needs that vocal line in that story to tie it together and make anything out of it. This is different, though. I agree with you that the vocals are this guy's story is what you're totally focused on.
You're hooked on him. Yeah.
But this isn't like that. This was built as it's this thing. It was built, dare I say. Sorry for people who don't get the reference, and sorry for Marillion. These two bands don't necessarily get along very well, but this is built like an IQ song is built, which is we wrote this thing, and then we wrote something more, and then we wrote something more, and then we wrote something more.
I could foresee this whole song. Maybe they've talked about it. Hopefully, they will talk about it on a DVD soon. But I can foresee this being all right. Dave Megan or whoever was producing them, what are the best parts we played last night, right? Can you cut and paste, make this into a song that works?
But that's not how this song was made. We know that because they played this song live, at least in pieces. It was called, like I told you off camera, it was called Pacific Rower, which is a great name for a song too. Ocean Clouds, a little more poetic, and I like that better. But Pacific Rower is such a and
Pacific Rower sounds like a big.
Well, they just trotted out like the first half and change of this tune in concert already, so they had tried it out.
Really,
and then it became something that was cool enough that they had to finish it. So it feels like what you're saying, and a lot of Marillion is essentially
that's very King Crimson of them.
Yeah,
because Crimson used to do that.
Yes, it's just not. I mean, it's not that they've never done that, but they don't do a lot of that. No. They got enough to play on the road that they don't need to be playing songs to the audience that have absolutely never heard it before. And Suits by Fish was built that way too. It was built live and then brought into the studio, which is why all those songs try your patience, because they're the live versions of the songs essentially. Yeah. They're not bad songs, but they do have this sort of everything but the kitchen sink to each song. Right. This one has that too, but for only good and not evil. It's epic in every way you can sort of use that term. And I got to read more of Dave's notes because they're profound here. Also, there's so many words that are barely audible. I couldn't imagine Sudden Gravity doing something like that.
Right.
Well,
there is a lot of stuff where you're like, what is he saying there? And if you don't have the lyrics in front of you, you cannot even pick those up.
And yet, what you say about the vocals being the focus is still true. You
want to hear that. You're like, wait, what did he say right there? You know. Because you don't want to think of it as a Budapest crack house in Amsterdam.
There's a great trick, and we need to maybe, since you brought Sudden Gravity up, we need to maybe be a little bit more adventurous that way. You know, there's a really great song on Genesis's Duke called "Man of Our Times," and the chorus is really just Phil Collins just screaming, "He's a man of our times," and what they do is they mix him really low in it. And yet he's yelling as loud as he can, and it has this feeling that he's desperately trying to get above the song,
right.
And can't, and is drowning. And it just, but you got to have the balls to have that idea and then really do
right.
it, and
kind of bury it. I mean,
it's neat. It's because he's singing loud. You can feel it, but you can't hear it the way you would normally hear
right.
a big, Phil Collins type of tirade. You guys have all heard those. I love the Invisible Man reference too. Again, there's the ways these songs connect,
which is kind of why you kind of feel, is this a concept album?
Yeah, it is. It is and it isn't.
Yeah,
but it really isn't. But it is.
What else do I say? Wow.
And then bring it all back. Bring it all back to "You Can Take It," all the boys and girls.
Oh yeah, you can take all the boys and the girls. Bringing. I mean, because you haven't heard that for. 20 minutes,
right,
and
almost.
Then like the very end minute or two or whatever, you get that what is the closest thing to a chorus in this song, pulling back.
This song doesn't need a chorus, but bringing that section back and bringing it back as a big ending is a pretty stroke of genius.
Good,
yes,
so good, and
really,
and there's
really
that part when the keyboards come in, where he's like, he was a monster head. I can't remember the lyrics. Look, this boy's a cream puff, and then they use the one word where you're like, anytime you play it, like in a record store or at your work, where other people can hear it, you're like, oh. Yeah, I hope people hear the S at the beginning. It's a British term for laughing, which I will not say right now, which can be mistaken as the N-word, which, if you're not listening closely. But they talk about, the kid getting picked on by the physical ed teacher, and everybody laughing and thanking God it's not them getting picked on. But yeah, this song goes through so many things, and this song was based on was it a no, Estonia was based on the ship that went down and how he bumped into
the Estonia. He bumped into one of the survivors on an airplane flight.
And this was based on a sailor's biography, right?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So, yes, they do lot of nautical stuff. It's crazy.
They do. Well, they do. This song is very. It's hard to explain. I mean, I don't know how they pull that off, but it is very oceany. It really does have that seaside seagull sort of thing happening in it, without doubt. But like he said, it also gets into some really universal things that I think, societal things, and
that we can all go, oh, I've lived through that kind of thing.
And that I think Hogarth, as a particularly sensitive, artistically bent kid, has gone through those things. I think that's why he identified with the girl on the bridge in Brave so hard. I think that he doesn't start that. He does sort of start at singing about her, but he starts at singing about him, that live in the big lies about his childhood, essentially, or the dark parts of his childhood. So he's getting you off by introducing you to himself before he brings in this other woman and Runaway. And here it's the opposite. It's biographical. It's got all these weird terms in it and stuff, and you don't really relate to it. You're mesmerized by it, but you don't really relate to it. And then at the end, it's at the end where he clobbers you with just how hard life can be sometimes, and just how unnecessarily cruel it can be. Like, it's a really good tune. Yeah,
I would. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I were to tell anybody to listen to any song out of the 2-disc version, that is exactly the song that I would. Part of me would want to say Invisible Man, but I think Ocean Cloud is easier to grasp as a listener.
It's more of a
24 fucking.
Even though it's 24 minutes long, it's somehow more of a conventionally structured song. It really does lead you to one piece after the next in a much more organic way than Invisible Man, which bops you around.
Right. Well, it does have repeating parts too.
Yes.
Motifs that
and which Invisible Man doesn't.
Even though there are huge stretches that you're like, oh, I'm going on this huge.
There's
journey.
so many easy songs to listen to and love right away on this that I wouldn't pick either of those songs. But maybe my friends aren't as adventurous as you. You got some friends that have listened to some 20-minute songs and stuff, and I do too. But if they don't already know Marillion, they can't be helped.
No.
At this point, so a regular person probably I'm not going to play either of those tunes. I'm not going to sit here and say here's the 24-minute song. I just wouldn't do that in general, but. Ocean Cloud's sort of graduate level Marillion stuff anyway. I mean, if
this is college level shit.
Well, yeah, once you get into it, once you get into it, finding that it's like the reward for having been there the whole time.
Right.
So,
and I honestly think,
not that somebody wouldn't be impressed with it. Somebody who likes good music should be impressed with it.
I get it why it's at the end of disc 1, but
it has to end. Honestly, it has to end something.
Honestly, it should have been the closing track to me. Like,
they needed. Okay, here we are. They needed a closing track for a single album version of this record. Right.
Well, they could have swapped both closing tracks, and
they'd have room to almost do that.
I think I would have liked.
There's a way to do
the
that.
other one better, but.
There's a way to do that. If you pop Ocean Cloud out of this and take some of the Rainstorm out at the end, just a few seconds of it at the end of the thing, you can get all of this on one disc. But you got to take Ocean Cloud out. And if you put Ocean Cloud in, you got to start dropping extra things that they don't even drop from them. It's challenging. I just think I have nothing. I mean, you've heard us talk enthusiastically about the first disc of the set. I just object to the sequencing. I think it.
Well, they know that you're objected to the sequencing.
Yeah, you already know that. I don't need to keep repeating that, but what I certainly don't object to is where Ocean Cloud is. It is the end of the first side. It's in the perfect place.
Okay.
There should have been a more poppy song that came ahead of it, but that's all I'll say about that. All right, these are almost to the minute the same, which I think is ludicrous that they stuck to, because on 2 discs you got all the room to do whatever you want.
Right.
They didn't even need to be equal. There was no reason for that. You could have done this however you wanted to, and I think there was this sort of. I mean, I'm a little OCD myself, as you know. I think there was this little, we got to make them match somehow or make them mirrors of each other.
Honestly, I think if all of it without Ocean Cloud fits, you could have had Ocean Cloud be
its own disc.
An EP, a 24-minute EP, and it would have, that would have been awesome. But
because it's got a great start and a great ending, and it could have literally been its own thing. I kind of agree with that.
Yep.
That's how I have it. I mean, not really. When I listen to it in sequence, I put it on a disc, or I can have a whole bunch of things, or I just put it in a server or whatever. So I have it right in the middle, because to me, it's like this. It's like the kind of peak of the mountain, sort of. So I have it right before the ending stuff, but after all the sort of easy album stuff that this album should have launched with, but didn't.
The only reason I say it should have been,
and I think you would. I really believe this in my heart. If Fantastic Place were after Angelina and came after Don't Hurt Yourself, somewhere in there, you'd have liked it better, because it would have felt more like a culmination of something. It comes at a bad place on this record, and then it's followed by the worst possible thing that could follow it.
Right.
It's just not well thought out. I'm sorry. I'll try and shut up about that.
So, my last comment on placing Ocean Cloud at the very end of the 2 discs would be, it always makes me want to listen to disc 1 again. It always makes me, it's kind of like the perfect ending to, where we'll get to the very end song on here and you'll know why I don't.
Well, that's Ocean Cloud is its kind of own thing in its own universe. The ending song on the album is written to be a big ending to something. I mean, I wouldn't switch them around, but that's a quibble. Right. I get why you think it has why it's a big ending and a great ending, because it is. It is. It's a great beginning too. It's really a thing unto itself. Yep. It like you say, EP. It could easily have been its own album, and we would all loved it.
So we get the Marbles 3.
Of course.
So now we're on disc 2. It's a minute or an hour and 14 minutes. Do you think we should make all the rest of the videos be just a video of each of the next whatever else?
No, because we'll never talk about this one in it. But I did think Marbles should have its own show, and I did say that a few weeks back. Because there's just so much to talk about.
I'm wondering, should we have somewhere else beyond this video?
No, I already said I didn't think we should.
Okay.
But we can. I'm ready to do that, but this is long. And somewhere else I think is a better companion piece for the next 2 albums, which I do think you could do in one show.
Right.
Somewhere else certainly isn't its own video.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, we were going to do 2 albums tonight, but this is 2 albums. It really is.
Right.
I mean, remember when we did Brave and whatever? It was 2.5 hours, Brave and Afraid of Sunlight. I mean,
right.
This isn't quite that. This is brilliant. It's not quite that, but it's almost that, which on one record, my God.
Well, we'll see where we're at when we finish this, what the time is.
I don't mind blitzing through somewhere else either, but if we want to give that its due,
I'm gonna though say, and here's my request for people. What is the version that you've always listened to? Was it the single disc or the second disc or the 2-disc version? And the other one is, if you chose one song on here, what would your favorite song be? So,
if you want, please
leave us comments, because those are fun. Yeah. And I know there was like Davey, who discovered us through these.
Yeah.
There's a few other people. There's a guy that whose name escapes me right now, and I apologize, but he knows my buddy Phil. And I sent him Mind Over 4 stuff through contact through YouTube, and he guessed the record store that I work at, and he walked in and he said, "Fairly Secret Music, David." And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he told me how he has been watching since whenever. I don't know how long. But,
some unboxing video captured his attention.
Right. But these Marillion videos made him a fan.
So you guys don't care. You can stop this anytime and pick it up later. Right. We really could do it all in one show. I mean, I don't think it makes any difference. But we are a little long-winded, and Marbles, in my opinion, was always going to take a chunk of time.
Yeah, it was going to take a chunk of time.
And if we're not going to be able to stay focused, because it's us, let's just face it.
Right.
That was never going to happen.
Honestly, though, we're at 117.
We're doing all right, and we're doing okay, but it's Marbles, and we just had a giant intermission where we talked about all these people.
Marbles.
I don't remember your name, man, but the dude who explained the Rake's progress to us properly and everything, thank you. That was a coolest ever YouTube comments I think I've ever read.
We've got so many cool comments,
and we knew we were on the right track there. But I mean that extra bit of encyclopedic knowledge was really a treat to read.
Okay, what did I say about Marbles 3?
I liked that piano part, but didn't remember the song. Is this the weakest marble? Bring your thinking man emojis out.
God, and I've listened to those notes were made like 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I will say this: I listened to this.
The first side starts with Invisible Man. The second side, I think, appropriately starts with
one of the marbles.
One of the marbles. Like actually, that's. I don't argue with that. That's nice.
I can't argue with that.
I don't. Like I said, I don't. I think it's a lost cause to evaluate these little pieces as much more than what they are. But.
Okay, then let's move on to the next one. The Damage, right?
The Damage.
What did I write?
Not my favorite, but it has some cool things, like bringing back the Genie reference. The Damage is really the Afraid of Sunrise to Genie's Afraid of Sunlight. if that makes any sense. They're kind of the same song. They're different attempts at the same idea.
Right.
Damage also is very Marbles loaded and Marbles related, more than some of these other songs that don't really reference those things at all. Damage does a little bit. The line, "Don't give me what's in the window, babe. I want the stuff you think would never sell." That's pretty fun.
That is such a great line.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, is this in the lyrics? Did I just imagine that? Because I never picked up on that line. I was like, oh, if any line in any song I wanted to steal, it's that line. For some reason, I just love that line so much.
A live version of Damage, Once They Hit the Road, was the third single from this album. It was a digital-only single, but that was considered a thing, and it wasn't some huge hit or anything as a digital-only single at that time, but it made waves as one. Like, people went and downloaded it, paid their $1, and again, it shot up those charts, basically. Yeah, exactly. So, that's a weird choice.
Right.
Of some of the things you had left over that weren't singles. Again, the 2-disc version, it's very weird that we haven't heard a single until we get to this song, and it's the worst one. I just really think if you're going to write hit songs and you want that to be a big part of the experience, you got to put at least one of them up front, and they didn't do that here. But Damage is an interesting song, but it's a leftover. I would keep, despite that cool lyric and some cool things about this, I would keep Only Unforgivable Thing over this one. Because this one just... it just doesn't have a lot of substance to it, or a lot of. It's nice to have a rockin' tune here at this point, but as far as rockers go, it's
Only Unforgivable Thing. Oh no, that's
also not on the single disc version. This is also not on the single disc version. I'm saying if I'm picking a weakest track, it might be the Damage.
So we have Ocean Cloud, Damage, Only Unforgivable Thing, and Genie were not on the single.
Correct.
That is very bizarre to me. It's super weird. Yeah.
And all the
there
things,
were so many great ideas on
almost
this.
all the things that start the album on the single disc version we haven't even talked about yet. They're all coming here in a row. So that's why I'm single disc all the way. Even though don't buy the single disc, buy the double disc.
I kind of wish I had the single disc now.
I'm glad I did because it made me create what I thought was a much better version of Marbles. And I was inspired by the single disc making more sense, but missing stuff that I felt I had to have.
Right.
What I tried to do was homogenize the two together.
Well, and you know what I'm going to do when we get to what's the
homogenize? That's not properly used word. I apologize.
What's the album?
What are the two albums
together?
After that? Merge them.
Marry
them together.
What are the 2 albums after that? The 2 discs.
2 discs after that. Happiness is the Road.
Happiness is the Road. I'm going to actually just make an MP3 disc. So I can throw it in my car.
Happiness is the Road will all fit on one CD if you drop the jam.
Really?
Yeah, there's one other thing you got to drop too, but it mostly will all fit on one CD.
But I'm going to make a MP3 disc because my car plays MP3 discs.
Because that jam song on that album you don't need that.
Yeah,
it's fine, but you don't need it.
Okay, so what do we?
But I think you have to drop. Actually, you do have to drop one other song, and all the rest of them, frankly, are cool. And you can't break up the first disc of that album; it's not breakupable.
No.
Whereas this, you can start moving things around. They did it. I can do it. The weird thing about the single disc and the first disc is the Marbles are all before and after other songs, so there's segues that are different. They're just completely different experiences.
Right. Now I'm going to buy the single disc version.
They should be floating around out there someplace, for sure. And you get the single remix of your.
Oh, nice.
That's the bonus track.
Why
they would include that, not Genie, is like. I don't know, but whatever.
What was the song that you thought was the first single, David?
What was it? Is it Next?
Don't Hurt Yourself.
Great,
I thought this was
great song with the, what is that, steel guitar that he's playing on that song? And it's got H's great thing because H is a weird guy. He has a baritone voice that's extremely high.
Oh, you mean the don't
where he doesn't strain his voice, because he doesn't strain his voice. He's pretty good about that. He just sort of lets it go, and then it does whatever it wants.
Right.
And it
does kind of do a little.
A lot of people out there hate that effect. I always think it's great. And on this
where
song,
it kind of sounds like he's going through puberty for just a second.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Don't hurt. Awesome. Yeah. It's a mid-tempo, roly-poly song with a really great, catchy chorus. It was a number 16 hit, so it was a top 20 hit. That's significant because if they only had one single and it had been number 16 on the Billboard charts, that would have be considered a rousing success. Right. The fact that it's the
second single.
Yeah, and that they didn't get nearly as high is just shows you that their single plan for this record worked like a charm.
Where did the first single go? Where
got to 7, top 10.
7, wow.
Highest charting single since Incommunicado.
Wow.
By Marillion.
What were my notes on that?
Oh no, don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself.
Pure radio friendly magic? Question marks. You have all these question marks in here. Am I supposed to be answering these questions?
No, it's kind of like how is this not a hit? You know,
it was a hit.
I mean, I know, but you know,
was this the one that got in the Billboard or whatever singles charts? This is probably the most catchy, accessible song they've done since the early H days. Well, it's on the list.
Right.
Top 10 pop song by them, and Pete is on guitar and Steve is on bass.
Which is weird.
It is. It's fun. They're having fun.
Right.
Pete True used to play the guitar. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He actually plays everything they play in the band, and he doesn't really get to very much. And here's a place where they flipped, and it's not probably not actually steel guitar, but that steel guitar sounding country western thing that's in that song that gives it that flavor is dynamite. And the chorus is what you said. It's great. It's a really great catchy song.
Super catchy.
Yep. This is the pop song where for me I would have put the first single up front. This is the pop song that you can save for later where like, wow, we get another one of these. Oh my God.
This is the song that I would actually give to people if I knew they couldn't handle Ocean Cloud.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good song. Right. It's like you say, how do you share one song that's the Marillion experience with people? It's really impossible. But it's a fun experiment, and this is a great song. So people should like it just because it's good.
Glenn has a friend named Amy who he's tried to get into Marillion, but he finally was just like, I give up, kind of, bullshit. And whenever her name comes up, I'm like, fuck Amy. She doesn't even like Marillion.
Amy who doesn't like Marillion.
Right. And I'm like, have you let her hear this song? So Glenn, because I know you're going to watch this, have you let her hear this song? Question mark. There's where a question mark comes.
I remember we were talking, because Kelly didn't like Marillion either, and it's probably because Rob just played her Incubus or something. I mean, you gotta Rob, you gotta kind of know your audience a little bit.
Nothing is worse than
I sang Dryland for her for karaoke, and she thought that was okay.
Giving
she wasn't
trying to get somebody into something and just being clueless as to what they're gonna want. And I have a feeling that Rob would show somebody exactly what is his favorite, not what he thinks is going to be someone else's favorite.
You try and get a little bit of both in there if you can, but it's a Marillion stuff. There are the wrong songs to play for people.
There are a lot of wrong songs,
and yet, some people have gotten into it for the weirdest reasons. You like things that I'm always like, wow, you really. I mean, I like it, but you really love that, huh? Of this whole band thing,
right?
We're always surprising each other in that way.
Well, like on Holidays in Eden, what's your favorite song?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I love Holidays in Eden, just like you. At least this one we're on the same page on. I mean, I really, really like that. That was the first Marillion album really I got into.
Right.
That was a weird time to get into them, but I bought 6 of 1, the collection, and I bought Holidays in Eden, and I bought all tapes, and I bought Misplaced Childhood on the same day, and I got into all three of the. I got into Holidays in Eden and Misplaced at the same time, and which was a weird way to do it, but it was a good way because they were 2 really good albums, I thought. And Holidays was really accessible, and frankly, so was Misplaced in a lot of ways. Yep. And then that collection had other stuff on it that I could try and sort of sample. So it wasn't the worst way to get into it, but it was a weird time. If Marillion had passed me, of all people, by at that point and until 1992, this is a weird time. It's a weird way to get into them. But I knew who they were, but I hadn't listened to them. And somebody's like, you like all this? You have to listen to Marillion. And I was like, yeah, I've heard of them. But he's like, no, you have to listen to them. Period. Now,
no,
this is
you
going
don't understand.
This is going to be. I mean, he was his favorite band was like Yes or whatever. But he's like,
who was this?
It's some guy on the internet in the early days of the internet.
Okay.
A guy on the
someone who didn't even know you.
There was an old internet. I mean, this is how we used to do it. Internet was text only. You had to have you had to know the commands for everything. I mean, this is before Netscape Navigator, which is probably an old thing most of you never even heard of. But it was really it was when the internet was just this thing. It was this portal with text in it. And they used to make these newsletters, and one of them was called Notes from the Edge. It was the Yes electronic newsletter. And we'd interact with each other on that, and then you'd get people's little emails, and there were only a couple 100,000 of us in the whole world doing this at the time, so there wasn't like everyone was on the internet.
Right.
So you could trust everybody, and everybody was who they said they were. There was no fraud or anything. You couldn't buy anything on the internet at this time.
Right.
Anyway, he's just like, you should, because I'm talking about Asia, and I'm talking about all these sort of 80s things that I liked, and championing them, because the 70s prog fans weren't a fan of To the Power 3 or Esquire or any of the like 90125 wannabes of the 80s, or the Asia wannabes. They were all just kind of AOR versions of prog. They didn't dig that stuff at all. I did. I loved it. I loved it all, in fact. I'm like, well, it's a pop rock, yeah, but it's got all that. It's got some prog adventurism in it. It's like it's a great mix of it. He goes, well, you would like Marillion. I go, yeah, I've heard of them, but I've never even seen them in a store. Well, you need to buy them. And I was like, well, no. He was right. He didn't love Marillion. He knew I would love Marillion. Right. He passed the test of he didn't tell me what to buy. I bought what was available. That was all that was there.
Right.
The 2 latest albums and the biggest hit album. On tape. Anyway, boy. This really is only going to be a Marble show. We just settled it there.
That guy basically created the Uber fan, because he will not keep versions normally if he's got the remastered version.
Well, if I like the remastered version.
Well, he'll buy the remastered version and then usually get rid of the original.
That's not true of Marillion.
He keeps everything, no matter how many copies he has.
Of Marillion.
Yeah.
I own this album almost, 9 times?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So.
And yet somehow I don't have this cool Madfish book. I don't know, I missed that, but I got a lot of versions of Marbles.
So we have Don't Hurt Yourself, which is just amazing.
No, really good song.
And then you get to I can't read that from here. You're Gone?
You're Gone.
Yeah, what did I say about You're Gone?
The Sun. Did you do this audio?
No,
I'm going to read this as it's printed. We'll see if you people can figure this out.
It's supposed to be the song.
The Sun kind of reminds me of U2. The Sun, David.
Right. The Sun does.
When I look at the Sun, I often think of U2 as well.
No, that should have been the song.
You're not alone on this YouTube comparison, by the way. Especially with the guitars, more atmospheric kind of stuff. The delays and stuff on the guitars, that's very U2-y. And frankly, the soaring Bono-like choruses and stuff. You're Gone was the lead-off single from this. It was a number 7 hit. It was their last top 10 hit. It was their first top 10 hit in almost 20 years at the time.
Do you think that's why
I have 3 versions of that single. I bought all 3. I found a friend in the UK to buy them for me so they would count. My 3 versions counted.
Do you think if you ordered directly from the band, did that count?
Band is not allowed to sell that directly for it to count at the time.
Oh, okay.
Again, I don't know how shit works in the wild internet west where nobody actually owns a thing.
Right.
Like, I just don't know how you get to be the number 1 thing with clicks. How does Spotify make all its money? It's not by selling you music. They don't make money doing that. They make money by having their shares go up like a normal business.
Right.
Which it happens because of traffic, so it's not like you're not a part of that. But I can tell you right now, their value is not based on your subscription to them, which is piddly for what you're getting.
Right.
So it's crazy now. But back when this was still 2004, this was record buying, in this case CD buying, physical copies, and there were 3 versions of the You're Gone single, which had 2 different versions of You're Gone on it. Had a couple other remixes and things. A really, really cool version of When I Meet God, a remix of it from Anarachnophobia, and it had a live version of a song I'd never heard before called Faith, which is an amazing song. Faith started out as a Marbles B-side. It was live, but and we can't get into it right now. I wanted to mention it. Yeah, we can't get into it right now because it really is officially part of the next album. Yep. But one of the things that it didn't help the next album for me, because I'd already had it listening to it for 2.5 years. By the time I heard it on the album, which isn't even as good as the version that was live on the.
Oh, really?
Beast. I don't think so.
I mean, I do like they did it with.
It's not considerably different, but it's it's one of those things where when you play something that simple and perfect live, it's kind of perfect. And when you try and kind of turn it into an album track, it's kind of like.
Did they have that middle section still?
Yes, but it's different. I should play it for you sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe if you'd have bought the singles like a good Marillion fan in the first place, you'd have it.
At this point, I was not a good Marillion fan.
You were becoming one again.
I didn't even know this album came out. So what month of 2004 did this come out?
I don't know.
So
I feel like it was early 2024, like Marchish, but I don't know that. That's a guess. 2004.
Right,
sorry, 2004.
Because I don't think I heard this until 2005. Because my friend Jason, whose name is also in the big version, lent it to me, and I finally had something awesome to play in the store because the previous owners wouldn't let me play anything heavy, but they would let me play this, and I listened to this over and over.
I did
again.
the pre-order for it, got my name in it. I was waiting for it all day long. I was pulling lyrics off their website and sending them to my friend who was going to listen to it with me for the first time at home.
Yeah.
I just was going through the lyrics and I was pulling cool phrases, and I did one for each song, and I was like, "This is what you're going to get tonight."
Right.
Sending little emails all day long. Philippa Finch.
Nice.
P. Finch.
Did she
Philippa
like it?
Kending now. I don't know. She liked Marillion. She came to see this concert with me that summer. So there you go. It must have been. Well, maybe it was summer 2005.
Who knows? Jenny also went to see Marillion too, and she doesn't.
She loves Marillion.
Jenny does?
Jenny Shank, yeah.
Shouldn't
be using people's real names, but she liked Marillion. I mean, partly because I did, but I don't. You just can't stand in the room and watch them do their thing and not kind of fall in love with them. That doesn't mean it's really her. Her. Yeah, it isn't. But
what is next here? So You're Gone, the single.
Yeah, You're Gone, and it's a great single, and it is a lot like U2. It's not a. It doesn't.
Do you think that's why?
It's not a lot like U2, but that was you weren't alone there. That was a comparison. They said, "Oh, it sounds like U2," and all I remember is thinking, at least we're not talking about them sounding like Foreigner anymore.
Right.
You know who you are.
Yeah, Mark.
It's got a very contemporary hit single sounding thing of the day, and it had with full respect to "Don't Hurt Yourself," which is great and was also a hit. It's got the hit song chorus. That's the one. Genie's got a great chorus. Don't Hurt Yourself's got a great chorus. Fantastic Place's got a great chorus. The hit song chorus is on You're Gone without question, and they released the right song, and yet in the annals of Marillion lore, this many years later now, we're more than 20 years later, it's shocking to me that this album is more than 20 years old. But here we are, and it's not really, it's not considered some bad song or anything. They trot it out every once in a while as on a special occasion, but it's
kind of forgotten.
It's not the enduring song that their actual hit songs are, because making a hit song at that point in the charts when people were buying less music was more about being organized and having a plan than it was about actually having your sales take off because they heard something on the radio and thought it was awesome. I'm sure a little bit of that happened with this, but at the BBC, everyone had to play it. It was a top 10 hit that week.
But it's kind of like thumbing your nose at the BBC.
They had to play it. Right. It was a hit song. But they kind of, even then, they begrudgingly played it. As soon as it was out of the top 10, they stopped playing it.
Right.
They don't believe in Marillion. It was a minor little news story.
Yeah.
And nowhere near as big a news story as the Anarachnophobia. The fans bought this album ahead of time thing. That was a huge thing in the UK.
Yeah.
And that song's got a couple of hit singles on it too that weren't hits. But they weren't. But the only difference is they weren't organized about it. They could have got Between You and Me or Map of the World on the radio if they'd had kind of done it right.
Yeah.
What they realized, I think, from that experience, and they could have realized this all the way back at Holidays in Eden, is writing a great hit song isn't enough. Right. It's not enough. You have to
market.
Well, there's something else in here. It's not even that you got. It's not even that you have to be the marketing, but you gotta have a plan.
Right.
And they had a plan, and both of them worked like a charm. I mean, Don't Hurt Yourself didn't climb to the same heights, but them getting a song in the top 20 was shocking, and would have been shocking if that was all that happened. So having 2 hit songs in that year and a sort of notable digital single was a kind of amazing deal.
Well, and then they go kind of backwards because they haven't really done that kind of push since this album, have they?
They did the same thing for Somewhere Else, but Somewhere Else doesn't have the songs.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have them. There's not a hit song on Somewhere Else.
No, there isn't. There are great songs on Somewhere Else.
Some good ones, yeah. But they tried to write shorter songs, but it's just something about it's not happening.
Yep. So what did I write about Angela?
Angelina. Just don't care for this song.
Yep.
Angelina, by the way, is her name.
Right.
I love Angelina. Again, I front-loaded Angelina kind of with my Genie, You're Gone, and then Angelina, which is how it...
Maybe I would like it if it was earlier.
Well, if you put it in the spot where Only Unforgivable Thing is, which is around where it should go, you'd like it better, no question. Because you put it around the pop songs, and it's kind of a little bit longer pop kind of song about pop songs or about music itself.
Right.
I like Angelina though, but Angelina more than any other thing on this record is very much an Anarachnophobia styled song. It's got these swirly things in it. It's got this. It's super vibey as opposed to being a structured kind of thing.
Right.
It's not very proggy, but it's not very poppy. It really is. It really is like the longer stuff
Kind of
and the
plotting.
less rockin' or stuff on. Yeah,
You can tell it's very jammy.
yeah, but it's about it's like their version of a Steely Dan song. It's about this guy listening to this sexy voice on the radio playing him, and of course the premise of the song is, Angelina, baby, you can play me anything and I'll listen to it. Like I'm super into this, but it's also about the magic of sharing your weird music, and it's about H sort of wanting to talk about a few things that he's into that isn't necessarily the same stuff that is the stuff I do in the band, because he's got pretty diverse tastes.
Right.
Was not a prog head of any kind when he joined the band. Probably maybe a little more so now, but
Right. Or he's gonna go play with the and just be the keyboardist.
Right, the coolest band in the world, and instead he joined the most uncool band in the world. That's his quote.
He's still the new kid.
He didn't say the lamest or anything. He said most uncool, which is a phrase I sort of like from Marillion. Honestly, they are kind of the most uncool.
The most uncool.
And so when they trot something out like Angelina, which is about being cool and it's done in the style of something that's super cool, I get it that there's a little bit of artifice to it that's hard to get through.
Right.
But I like it. In terms of the variety of it, I don't think it overstays its welcome or anything. It's not that jammy, but it is a little different. It is a little different, and it's again, they put the hits back to back, and it's coming after that. It's just coming in a weird place. On the single disc version, it's like the third song on the album, and that's a much better spot for it.
Yeah.
Because you'll accept it there, and you know there's more coming. It's just a better spot for it than here, where, man, I've been listening to this album for an hour now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
well,
although I would put Only Unforgivable Thing here, which is even more boring. Not that it's boring, but it's even more of a slow burn of a song that has less personality. But I just think that's where a song like that goes, and this isn't that. This song has a ton of personality. The Cannibal Surf Babe of this album. I know you don't like that one either, but
I've actually grown to be okay with that song now.
I think that's a very clever, fun song, and I think that album needs a song like that. Maybe not that one if that's not your favorite, but it definitely needs something with that sort of crazy vibe, and that's like a better, like this album's version of that is, Damage, which isn't anywhere near as good as one. But here we are, Angelina. It's cool. It's cool. Acid kitsch.
And then we get Drilling Holes.
Oof.
So this song, read my
that little galloping synth thing.
Read my little thing that I said, because
I love this song. It's weird that it's this far into the album, because if you don't like Neverland, you're probably never going to get to it much, but it really makes it worth going through the whole album. That's why I would leave this one right where it is, because it does. It comes right where it's most needed, and it's dynamic, and it's exciting, and it's not exactly a rocker, but there's something powerful and upbeat about it. Yeah. We've had a lot of, even the pop songs, Don't Hurt Yourself, it's not like a downbeat song, but and even You're Gone, the verses are pretty quiet compared to the choruses. There's a lot of that moody stuff on here. Even your Ocean Cloud, as exciting as it gets, it's very for a lot of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this comes right where it belongs. just that synth programming alone and the way it's mixed and just the energy, man, the drums, the way he sings it, it's different than anything else on the record. I'm with you. I don't know that it's like a highlight from the record. It's just like in that magic spot. It comes right where you need it,
right?
And you really appreciate it for that reason. At the same time, I don't.
And I was
as you say,
I
don't go hunt.
this. I was like,
I don't go hunt and peck it out.
This has been here the whole time, and
yeah.
I always kind of turn the album off before Neverland, but when we get to Neverland, things have kind of changed for the first 5 minutes. But after this, you get in Marbles 4.
Yep.
And
the last of the Marbles.
We don't even really need it. It's, I think I wrote, it's very much like Marbles 1, right? Or something.
Well, it is. It's like a reprise of Marbles 1, yeah. which all of these basically are. They all have a little bit of Marbles 1 in them. Marbles 1's is the purest one, so it's the one you like the best. I get that. But they're all... They don't wander too far from there. None of them. This is my second favorite Marbles song.
Well, there you go. Yeah, because it's very much like the first one, which... Honestly, if they just had one of them, and they just had the first one, that would have been perfectly fine. And now we get to the very final track, which is called
Neverland. Turns out I really like... This is David, by the way. I'm reading David. If I'm looking down like this, I'm reading David.
Yep.
I should have said that when I started reading David. Neverland. Turns out I really like the first half of this song, but as soon as they get to the Wendy Darling part, I lose interest because of how the vocals are for the rest of the song.
Yep. I do not like... I've never disliked an H vocal part more than when he gets to that part.
Huh.
Because it's so...
It's majorly affected. I mean, it's not even a... He's not really singing anymore. Yeah.
And it's just... I'm like, why did you go with this idea? Did anybody say...
That feels... I don't know the answer to that. I've never read an interview about Neverland, but that feels like a David Meegan-inspired thing.
Like, oh, hey, we got this, and let's kind of...
Well, we got this thing, and we want it to be the big ending, and here's a way to do it.
I think it's a horrible way to end an album.
Yeah, I've never minded it. I thought it was okay. It does feel like the big ending to me.
Does it? Really? It feels like the
well, it's got a big... It starts out simple, and it's got a big build to it.
But the first 5 minutes of it... Well, it is a 10-minute song.
Yeah.
Right? The first 5 minutes of it, I'm like... Holy shit! I really like this first half.
Yeah, there's not right.
And then it goes into that, and then it totally loses me, and which is a reason I've rarely listened to disc 2, and which made
got all the hits on it,
which made me go, oh shit, Damage. Or wait, is it the Damage? No, Drilling Holes. Yeah. I was like, I don't think I've gotten to this more than once or twice.
Well, before. Drilling Holes going into the first part of Neverland really does feel like you're right as rain. You're really flying along, and this album's going to close really, really strong. Right. And you're not alone. There are many people who do not like the way Neverland ends, or just simply don't have or even if they don't like it, they don't. They just this goes on and on like this too long. Even after that, like I said, you've got sound effects that go on for almost a full minute after that ends. But it's a totally epic album that has this, which it's designed. It's a designed big epic soundscape of an ending. I've never loved it, so I'm not going to sit here and say you're all crazy. Right. But I've never understood the hate for it. It's just it just is what it is. I just thought
why I think swapping Neverland and Ocean Cloud would have been a better way.
The beginning of Ocean... Well, you can't just swap them. You got to shuffle around a bunch of things.
Oh, do you?
Well, yeah, because Neverland's long, but if you want to do it the way they did it...
Oh, okay.
Either way...
I thought you said there was extra space on...
I think Neverland... You can't pop Neverland anywhere but at the end if you make a single disc version or a single running order of this, because there's no place in an album but the end where you can listen to a minute of rain falling. That's not the end of the album. Right. I mean, it has to be at the end.
No, I mean, but at the end of disc 1, you could have had it.
Sure.
Right. If they just swapped those songs on those 2 discs. But the thing is,
You'd have to do more than that to maintain what they've done here. But
with the single disc version, didn't you say they have a duplicate song on there too?
Yeah, they do have a remix at the end of the.
Which song was that?
You're Gone.
You're Gone.
Has the single like remix. There's a 40-minute. You're Gone's like 6 minutes long, and the single version it's based. I wouldn't even call it the single version. I call it the video.
So
version.
if you swapped them and there was an extra 10...
you could drag You're Gone over and stick it after Genie, and I'll be right with the world.
Right, yeah,
sure, so, yeah, maybe,
yeah. I mean, but the funny thing is with this album, even though I like this album more, I only listened to this album once, all the way through while creating my notes. I think I would have more to say about each song if I had gone into the Somewhere Else, which honestly, before I started listening to Somewhere Else, I'd maybe listened to it twice, right?
Well, that's, I think, part of why, and we going to do something? We're not going to do Somewhere Else. Where are we at?
We're at an hour and 49 minutes. So yeah, we're not. We're going to end this one.
We'll spare you a whole nother album review.
I will tell you though that I listened to Somewhere Else probably 20 times in the last week.
Somewhere Else is a new Marillion album for you. That's why.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's why. And look, I got my issues with Somewhere Else. You guys will hear them on the next show.
And I'm going to totally agree.
We will not wait for 4 years to do it. No. I promise. But what's neat about it is, because it's slagged off by a lot of people who really love Marillion. In fact, I mean, not just people who haven't liked them since Clutching at Straws or whatever, just calling it a piece of junk. People who make music and didn't understand what was going on it, and we'll get into the details of that. But what's really nice, and the preview that we'll give you here, the little sneak preview is, David, like say, not listening to it much, not remembering any of it until he listened to it just recently, falling in love with it is kind of it's like a miracle thing that poor Somewhere Else deserves. Like I'm not going to slag off Somewhere Else. I can promise you that.
We're going to disagree.
I did listen to it many, 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 many times when it came out, and couldn't fall in love with it. And that was a frustrating experience for me, especially after this, but really after all their albums. I found things to love on some of the other lesser sung records. Radiation, I immediately loved 3 Minute Boy, .com. I immediately loved Rich. I immediately loved Go.
Nothing that came after this was ever going to meet fan expectations.
That's correct.
Absolutely nothing they did would ever meet the
That's correct. And matter of fact, Happiness, which is much more well received, if that had come next, that would have felt just like this again, but worse. So they couldn't win. They couldn't win in that regard. But I knew that at the time. A lot of us did.
It's kind of like a sophomore effort, right?
Yeah, I don't know. They just had to get back in the studio again and do stuff again, and they didn't want to do the same thing again. And yet, I just feel like,
well, we
without the budget, without the time spent, without the producer to guide them,
right?
They came up with something very different.
We'll probably do the next video within the next
few weeks,
2 to 3 weeks or so.
We'll let David listen to Happiness is the Road a few times before we do it.
I have already been listening to that quite a bit. Like I said,
that's a potpourri of a record. Oh my god!
I got to the point where I was like, I have to stop listening to Somewhere Else. I have listened to this 20 times, and the songs started kind of running together for me. I was like, oh wait, no. And even though Somewhere Else has a song on it that I'm just like, that song's not that good, I wake up in the morning and I'm singing the goddamn chorus. So, and even Glenn, as soon as I mentioned that to Glenn, he's like, oh, Most Toys? And I was just like, I know.
Don't start reviewing. Let's either review the album or don't review the album. All right, we gave him the sneak preview.
That's a sneak preview.
Yeah.
So we will give
Otherwise, I will feel, honor bound to answer some of these things you're saying.
1 minute and 53 seconds, I think, is long enough for these.
Yeah.
Glorious.
We could have gotten through Somewhere Else in the next half hour, but this is good.
Right.
Marbles. it is worthy of being your favorite ever Marillion album, Ian Mosley. It is worthy of being any of your favorites. It's maybe not my favorite or his favorite, but it's just up there. It's in the upper stratosphere stuff. It's just what Ian Mosley says. It's the one record where they really took the time and had the material and the inspiration to put almost everything that a Marillion album has on in one place.
It's almost like them going, well, if we don't ever make another album,
and it was commercially successful, and it got songs in the top 40, got songs in the top 10. I mean, that's, even though that was a bit gimmicky at the time, that's a real accomplishment for them. And I never get sick of Marbles. Every time it comes on, I'm like, oh, here we go.
It actually just raised the bar on what they could do. Like, because I was in a kind of like a, oh, okay, there's a new Marillion album kind of after, especially after Anarachnophobia. And I didn't even know this album came out, but this was a point where I wasn't buying a ton of stuff probably, but
I certainly wasn't.
The fact that this came out, I didn't even know about it coming out. But this was also at a time,
we were real excited for a double album. Are you kidding
me? This was at a time where I wasn't really super active on the internet too. That wasn't until, a bit later. So,
hey, we gave you the Marillion show that you wanted so long ago. We hope you're still around to listen to it and care about it. This is a great one. It's a great one to come back on. And honestly, back then it was a great one to stop at because we needed to think about it a little bit. It's just it's just one of those records where it's a lot to bite off, but kind of in the best way.
And unfortunately, you're right. Can't do this and Somewhere Else. Although
we could have.
I'm super stoked about talking about it because I thought I was going to have nothing to say. And if you looked at those notes, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot.
I'm forbidden from looking at the notes until I get to read them on the show.
Yes, but till next time, thank you for watching and leave comments and
don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself.